The Nation of Islam's main focus was teaching black pride and self-awareness. Why should we keep trying to force ourselves into white restaurants and schools when white people didn't want us? Why not clean up our own neighborhoods and schools instead of trying to move out of them and into white people's neighborhoods? You know, you do have a self-awareness as an actor. The successful entrepreneurs that I see have two characteristics: self-awareness and persistence. They're able to see problems in their companies through their self-awareness and be persistent enough to solve them. A workplace that encourages self-awareness is an environment where the most productive, curious, and innovative people thrive. By definition, memoir demands a certain degree of introspection and self-disclosure. In order to fully engage a reader, the narrator has to make herself known, has to allow her own self-awareness to inform the events she describes. Mature striving is linked to long-range goals. Thus, the process of becoming is largely a matter of organizing transitory impulses into a pattern of striving and interest in which the element of self-awareness plays a large part. What bothers me is the lack of self-awareness. I don't know if I have ever met a group less self-aware than political reporters. I like to play the guy that has no self-awareness. If you're not perfectly conscious of yourself, that self can be tyrannical. In relationship to others, anyone can become a tyrant. That's why no one can be a Superman. You have to go beyond yourself with a third eye, self-awareness, because the one thing you cannot flee is yourself. The second you think that all your good fortune is a product of your virtue, you become highly judgmental, lacking empathy, totally without self-awareness, arrogant, stupid, all the stuff that our ruling class is. If you think about what you do, if you become self-conscious about it, you've got to be very careful, because I really like to write without self-awareness of what I'm doing. You should wear what you want to wear and not worry about trying to paint yourself in a certain image, because that self-awareness is what's going to help you become a more independent and more interesting and healthier adult. The joy of being a consumer is that it doesn't require thought, responsibility, self-awareness or shame. All you have to do is obey the first urge that gurgles up from your stomach, and then obey the next, and the next, and the next. China is completely lacking in self-awareness, and as someone who has stepped outside that society, I have a responsibility to write about it as I see it. So much comedy comes out of an earnest, deeply rooted need for one thing or another, trying to get it and caring so much that you lose your sense of self-awareness. We admire elephants in part because they demonstrate what we consider the finest human traits: empathy, self-awareness, and social intelligence. But the way we treat them puts on display the very worst of human behavior. Some artists shrink from self-awareness, fearing that it will destroy their unique gifts and even their desire to create. The truth of the matter is quite opposite. One of the reasons I'm an interesting person to be married to is my intensely late-blooming self-awareness. From taking photographs of George and Charlotte, I have been struck by the wonderful lack of self-consciousness that you see in photographs of children, without the self-awareness that adults generally feel. I really explored self-awareness and emotions through Green Lantern. It might sound goofy, but I do believe that emotions have power. We're all driven by something, and most of that is emotional reaction. For me, it was about recognizing my self-awareness. Self-awareness is not self-centeredness, and spirituality is not narcissism. Know thyself is not a narcissistic pursuit. Aristotle was talking about happiness 2,000 years ago. Every area of our life has been disrupted and innovated apart from personal growth and self-awareness. I think he tries to be nice, but he has absolutely zero self-awareness. None. Zip. So we see the public Donald Trump, the candidate, as being different than the in-person Donald Trump. I was in martial arts starting at the age of 14, and I got my black belt by the time I was 18. Soon after, I was teaching an entire school, with about 150 students. It was unbelievably intense because of the self-awareness part of becoming a black belt. Fasting is, first and foremost, an exercise for identifying and managing adversity in all its forms. With faith, in full conscience, fasting calls women and men to an extra degree of self-awareness. Self-awareness is one of the biggest enemies to creativity. Every time I rap about being a big girl in a small world, it's doing a couple things. It's empowering my self-awareness, my body image, and it's also making the statement that we are all bigger than this. We're a part of something bigger than this, and we should live in each moment knowing that. The mind's first step to self-awareness must be through the body. People should accept being single, because those are the moments you can really focus on yourself, and learning who you are. Then when you get in a relationship, you will be stronger and have a little bit more self-awareness, self-love, and the other ingredients for a healthy relationship. I think that what I have been truly searching for as a person, as a writer, as a thinker, as a daughter, is freedom. That is my mission. A sense of liberty, the liberty that comes not only from self-awareness but also from letting go of many things that weigh us down. Working together on solving something requires a high level of humility and a high level of self-awareness. Self-awareness is a character trait that's horrible to have if you're a performer. I think that a lot of these performers that we see get up on stage and play music, there's a sense of them truly not caring how they're coming across. They are just themselves. I look up to a lot of people who are like that. The road back from degradation begins with self-awareness, and sometimes, as in phone booth, change can begin with a single phone call. The case for exploiting animals for food, clothing and entertainment often relies on our superior intelligence, language and self-awareness, the rights of the superior being trump those of the inferior. What I'm very concerned about is how do we bolster our self-awareness as humans, as biological organisms? I don't recall having any self-awareness about the intricacy of my stories. Practice self-awareness, self-evaluation, and self-improvement. If we are aware that our manners, language, behavior, and actions are measured against our values and principles, we are able to more easily embody the philosophy, leadership is a matter of how to be, not how to do. Self-awareness is not just relaxation and not just meditation. It must combine relaxation with activity and dynamism. Technology can aid that. To deny that human beings are filled with antisocial passions betrays a denial of reality and a lack of self-awareness. One has to be taught nonsense for a great many formative years to believe it. Try to imagine that you're the strongest, most noble, most thoughtful, most compassionate, intelligent person in the world, and pretend to be that. Speak from that place. It's more than self-awareness, it's the ability to access this superintelligence. Self-awareness is a trait, or maybe practice is the more accurate way to put it, that everyone can always improve at. It is part emotional intelligence, part perceptiveness, part critical thinking. It means knowing your weaknesses, of course, but it also means knowing your strengths and what motivates you. I dislike the word self-help. Self-awareness, yes, but not self-help. If your emotional abilities aren't in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, if you are not able to manage your distressing emotions, if you can't have empathy and have effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are not going to get very far. Self-awareness is value-free. It isn't scary. It doesn't imply that you will subject yourself to needless pain. The characters I've played that I like the most are people that have a lot of obstacles. They have a lot of bad things going on. They're seeking to do something good amidst all the detritus around them, and they're aware of how badly they've screwed it up. That kind of self-awareness is tragic. You can't be a great comedian without having self-awareness about others or your own faults. You need a strong sense of self and view on the world. That's what great actors have, too. I think my daughters have a pretty healthy self-awareness, but I can't speak on their behalf. Self-awareness is not the same thing as self-approval, any more than imagination is the same thing as daydreaming. Whatever I have not yet learned to tolerate in myself inevitably will appear in my children. In this way, they, like Julia, guide me to a new level of self-awareness and everyone benefits. Having children, they're not your property. They need to figure out their own views. I think my daughters have a pretty healthy self-awareness, but I can't speak on their behalf. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.